Hello and welcome back to it's the podcast, you guys. It's the Paper Soprano podcast. You're here. You made it. You found it. You're here. Congrats. Yeah, that was pretty weird, but here we are. So, yeah, welcome back to the podcast. This is going to be a pretty short abridged version because I imagine not a lot of people are going to be listening on Christmas Eve and potentially also tomorrow for Christmas, but I will do my best to put out some content for you guys today. I feel like I do want to create content on these 2 days, even though I think a lot of people won't be listening, but here we are. So if today's podcast is a little bit shorter than you expected, I apologize, but it is what it is, girl. So you're just gonna have to deal with it, okay? So it is what it is. Yeah, so today's Christmas Eve, a very long-awaited day, as when you were younger, it was like, I feel like Christmas Eve was almost better for me than Christmas Day when I was younger, but it was just because of the party that we used to attend, and we used to get together with our family and blah 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 on Christmas Eve. It was like a whole big thing. So there was a lot of merriment and wonder associated with Christmas Eve. And then of course Christmas Day was like its whole big thing, and you had to go to church, so it was like, oh, and you gotta get dressed up, and you gotta put on tights, and it's like you can't escape from that. If you grew up and you were, grew up in a church setting in any way, you understand. You know what the deal is. But yeah, so today is Christmas Eve, you guys, and I had a really fun time creating a little vegan dish for my fam, and it went over pretty well. Honestly, it felt kind of bad because I didn't advertise it as oh look, this is vegan baked ziti. So if you want vegan baked ziti, dive on in. It would just kind of looked normal, so people I feel like were eating it and didn't really know. I mean, it's not like I've tricked anybody intentionally, but it was just people, it got put out with the regular old, buffet style thing. But honestly, it was pretty freaking good, and I was pretty proud of it and pretty excited to eat it. I made my own little cheese sauce, if you will, and I was happy with the way it turned out. I personally like a pretty decent amount of spice in the foods that I make and eat, so it was hard for me not to really make it super spicy, but obviously baked ziti is not something that prompts a lot of spice. But anyway, so that was good, and we had a small intimate gathering at my uncle's house this evening, and it was nice to see my fam. I know that a lot of people out there are not seeing their family, and I totally agree with that. You should absolutely do what you feel most comfortable with and what the CDC is recommending, and follow those guidelines. Everything, that all of the major scientists and people who are in charge are saying is correct in my mind, and you should definitely follow those things. But yeah, so whatever you're doing, as long as you're doing it safely and making sure that you're trying to do your best and follow all of the things that are going on, then yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. And, even if I have a couple people who are in my mind right now who are sticking out to me as just hanging out by themselves, and they either live far away from Long Island or they live in a place where they don't feel comfortable going back to their family or whatever their circumstances is, but I know that they're alone right now. And who knows, maybe you might be alone right now. Maybe you're, hanging out by yourself. Maybe you, didn't have the opportunity to travel internationally or whatever. And or you made the choice not to, which is honestly a very smart choice. And I just want to, congratulate you and just say that you're not alone, actually, even though you might feel that way. You are in large company, honestly. So, and to be perfectly frank, even the people who are spending time with their families sometimes feel alone in those gatherings. So it's just a level of perception, and I think that people who are alone right now, you gotta know that we're all here for you, and it's super hard, and we're trying to get through this terrible time together, and trying to enjoy the holidays at the same time, which is, virtually impossible for some people. But we're here for you. And if you ever need to talk to somebody, or you want, a chat or whatever, that I'm here for you, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for a good chat. I'm ready to listen. And if you need someone to chat with, especially during the holidays and, whatever's coming up in the next couple of weeks, you can always reach out. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to your friends, reach out to your family. It's just always here. So, yeah, you guys, I hope that you're at peace with whatever you're doing this year, and just knowing that this year is just a super, super unique set of circumstances, and I know we all know that, but yeah, I almost feel like I'm in a haze a little bit lately. You know what I mean? Strangely enough, I feel like a lot of these days that have been passing by, and, weeks that have been coming from the days, and the months that have been coming from weeks, they're just kind of weird and hazy, and we're all just kind of going through them. And then the main topic of conversation obviously is COVID, and people aren't really focused on anything else in general, in our personal lives also. It's just a survival mode that we're all in, which is honestly fine. Be in survival mode. Seriously, if you are trying to convince yourself that you're not in survival mode, then you're going to have a lot of problems in your life, and you're going to be like, oh, why can't I write my first novel, and why can't I do all of the things that I aspire to do as a teenager, and why can't I lose 30 pounds, why can't I do all these things? Because you're in survival mode, dude. And you just have to realize that, and you have to accept that, and accept that your nervous system, your literal physical body, is going through a level of stress that is just, it just doesn't, it's unprecedented, and it doesn't matter, what you try and put on yourself, because the external circumstances are so powerful right now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. But anyway, so I hope you guys are all enjoying your time, whatever you're doing. And if you're not enjoying your time, reach out to someone and make the call, make the move, take the leap, and try and take control over that. In a way, I think it's hard to do, but you can do it, So, yeah, you guys, I don't really have a ton to say to you right now. I'm just kind of hanging out. I just got back home. I actually left a little early just because I wanted to be back here, and I think I have a certain tolerance for social interaction in any form, really, but specifically family social interaction. So I am grateful when members of my family can realize that I need to leave and just recharge and not be around people and be quiet for a while. And because I do feel like when I'm in a social setting, and if you've ever met me and you've ever like been in a social situation with me, that I'm very much high energy. Like I like to make people laugh. I like to be around people. I like to be involved in the conversation. I'm very much involved with whatever's happening at the gathering, for sure. And basically, I'm a performer. I like to put on a show and like do funny things and, make people laugh and interact with others, but there's a certain level of interaction that I reach this like this top. Like I reach this level of I don't want to say my tank is out of gas, but it's kind of like that. Because depending on the surroundings, depending on the group of people, like the level of stamina or endurance, the level of endurance that I have with social interactions is different. So I'm sure there are some of you out here who can relate to this. It's like, depending on where you are, like sometimes it's just like, girl, I just need to leave and I just need to be quiet for a while. It's like, oh my God, it's so overstimulating. And someday I'll talk to you guys about this book that I am reading or have read in the past. I'm not reading it currently, but it's called, I think the Highly Sensitive Person's Survival Guide, or the Survival Guide for the Highly Sensitive Person. And it's super, super helpful, like just realizing that you are a highly sensitive person and you absorb a lot of people's energy around you. And when you're in social interactions, some things that might not affect other people, that they might like judge you for getting affected by or whatever, like it's just because you're very sensitive to things. And that's not like a bad thing, for sure, especially not in the music field. If you're extremely sensitive, like, yeah, good for you, dude. Like that's what we're looking for. That's a bonus for you, to be extremely sensitive and to be very much in tune with what you are playing or listening to or talking about, like whatever. So in my field, being highly sensitive is a good thing, but sometimes in social life it's a little bit tricky because you can't really predict when you're going to start feeling overstimulated and just like you need to be back in a safe, secluded spot, and it sounds very strange saying that, but it's true. And someday I'll talk to you guys about that book. I have a lot of really, really positive experiences with it. But for now, I think I'm going to cut this podcast a little bit short, you guys. It's about 10 o'clock. And if you guys know me, your girl goes to bed at like 8:30. Let's be real. Like, especially in these winter days when it gets dark at like 4:30. Yeah, it's pretty early up in here going to bed. So I am gonna call it, and I hope you guys have a really excellent holiday, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, like I hope you have a really great Thursday and Friday and weekend. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I can't guarantee that tomorrow will be another full podcast. It might be one similar to this, but either way, I will be here for you guys, and I will be chatting it up like I do. You know me. I'm not trying to skip intentionally, because I love the chat, okay? We love the chat up in here. It's never a burden or something that I'm obligated to do. It's something that I want to do, and I'm super excited that you all are here listening and having a good old time. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. If you liked this podcast, and if you like other episodes, this one was a little bit different, but do like this video and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. If you ever want to leave a comment or if you know me and we can have a chat, or even if you don't know me, let me know. You might get a opportunity to have a chat right here on the pod. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a great night, afternoon, morning, whenever you're listening to this. And thanks so much for being here. Okay, so here we go. Goodbye, you guys. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.